about kids' comics for my readers. Did you want to become comic book creators when you were kids?
Yeah, sure. All I always wanted to be in comics as far back as I can remember, like being 4 or 5 years old. I would watch cartoons on TV and then I would draw them. I would draw Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound, which were the cartoons being run in the afternoons when I was a kid. And my parents still have those notebooks of my drawings, and I always loved those characters. I got into superheroes early on, watching Spider-Man cartoons on TV. My local library had all these great books about comic books. There was a great book called The Great Comic Book Heroes that really inspired me. I got to learn all about these great stories and characters. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to get into either animation or comic books or both. And so I knew, like probably when I was 5, I wanted to be in this business, and I just kept working at it. And there's a longer story to that, but here I am.
And yeah, when I was in 2nd grade, my friend Dave brought in this rectangle-shaped Garfield book, Garfield comic strip. And I remember sitting and reading it and trying to draw Garfield, and the next thing I knew, all the other kids that were in the class wanted me to draw pictures for them too, and it just kind of steamrolled into that, and I spent my whole day drawing and buying comic books and trying to draw like the people that were in the comic books, and it just continued on and on like that.
What comic books did you read when you were kids?
Oh, I read a lot of comics. I read Spider-Man, mostly. I read Justice League of America, Batman, Superman, some of the other Marvel characters. Sporadically, I would just pick up different things. I also read a lot of cartoon-based comic books. When I was growing up, there was a publisher called Charlton, and they had the license to do Hanna-Barbera characters, so I used to pick up Yogi Bear, and I used to pick up Hong Kong Phooey and Top Cat. And so I loved all that type of stuff. I didn't discriminate. I loved humor characters, and I loved superheroes, and it was great.
Yeah. I think I bought some of the same things like Scooby-Doo and Dynamite and stuff, and then that progressed into detective comics with Batman and Flash and Green Lantern. Yeah.
Why did you choose to work in kids' comics as a grown-up?
I just didn't want to write scary stories or violent stories, or I just enjoy drawing animals and characters that are fun to draw and fun stories. I didn't want to get too serious with the stories that I was telling.
I think my answer is pretty much the same. I just really love to entertain. Every now and then I'll put a message in one of my stories. I've written a couple stories that are kind of semi-serious maybe, but I like humor, I like comedy. In addition to being a huge comic book and animation fan, I'm also a big fan of old comedy movies. Long, Hardy, Abbott Costello, Marx Brothers, Three Stooges. So that comes out in my work too. I just love all that stuff. So yeah, for me, it's in my DNA. I'm sure there's a really serious story in me somewhere that maybe one day I'll get a chance to do, but for the most part, I'm very happy keeping it light and entertaining.
What do you think makes a good kid's book?
I think probably everything we just said in the last question.
Yeah.
Keeping the story light, fun characters, good jokes, comedy, and but also if you're writing a kids comic about kids, or that have kids as the main characters, you want to write things that are appealing to kids, or social stories that kids can understand and identify with. You see, there's a big push right now with kids' graphic novels that's really exciting, and I hope that more kids read because of that.
I think that kids, like Steven said, want to read about things that are of interest to kids, and also they want to see the different personality types. So when you go to school or the playground, or you're involved in some kind of activity like a sports team or whatever it is, there's a lot of different personalities that you come across as a kid. So kids like to read stories that have these different personalities and how they interact. Like I would say when I was writing Archie comics, basically the way you go about it is you know the characters first. So you know that Archie is one way, Betty is another way, Jughead is another way, right? So Archie is clumsy, he's girl crazy, Jughead marches to the beat of his own drummer, Betty is very well-rounded, has a lot of interest, and is a true blue loyal friend. So when you have a situation that you're writing about, each of those characters is going to react differently to the situation. And that's what makes it a story, because you're going to get conflicts out of that, and you're going to get different types of scenarios, how it's going to play out. And so I think kids respond to that because it's kind of a reflection of what's going on in their lives, in school or at the playground or what have you.
What makes a good kid comic different from a good grown-up comic?
Good kids comic. What makes it different? What makes it different from a good grown-up comic? Well, I would venture to say that actually it's more about what makes it the same, because it's all about really the human experience, right? So, like I said before, if you're writing to kids about kids, you're dealing with issues or problems or situations that they're used to, and how do you solve these things, right? That's the story of a hero, and a hero could be someone who studied hard so they could pass a test. That's a heroic act. It's having a problem and solving it, right? So that's the same whether it's a story aimed at kids or a story aimed at adults. It's just that the problems in an adult comic are adult problems, which hopefully you won't have to deal with for many years to come. Because I'll tell you, the kid problems, they may not seem like it at the time, but they're more of a piece of cake than the adult problems.
Thank you for answering my question. Nice to see you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome,
Good seeing
Carl.
you too.
Keep up the great work. We love what you're doing.